Worries and anger over contaminated drinking water are growing by the day in Newark, New Jersey. In a case that echoes the water crisis in Flint, Michigan, high lead levels have been found in many Newark homes. City officials have distributed water filters since then, but the EPA now says those filters may not be effective enough. That warning came after a handful of water samples show lead levels are well above the EPA standard of 15 parts per billion. The EPA says bottled water should be distributed to all affected residents. The matter is now being fought in court, which Lisa Desjardins will discuss in a moment. But first, our colleagues at NJTV have covered the reaction in Newark. Here's Brenda Flanagan.
Ebony Williams says she installed a pure filter cartridge from the city of Newark on her kitchen faucet just a couple weeks ago. It's already blinking red, and she wasn't able to get free bottled water handed out by the city. The mom of two is deeply concerned about lead in her water after tests showed these filters failed in two other houses. Officials are now planning a much broader survey of homes with filtered water. Have you had the kids tested for lead?
I'm taking them today actually to William Street. Instead of getting in line for the water, I'm gonna get in line for the lead test.
If a parent is concerned that their child has been lead exposed, they should get their child tested. It's the only way to know for sure if there's been exposure. The long-term consequences for kids, both developmentally, neurologically, are really staggering and irreversible.
Newark started distributing filters last November after officials learned lead from corroded service pipes was leaching into water supplied by the Pequannock system. The city's handed out more than 38,000 pure filters, but never tested whether they were working properly until this July and August, because they're nationally certified and endorsed by the EPA. Residents are confused.
At this point, it feels like it's a Band-Aid that they're using to, I guess, lull everyone to think that everything is okay, but it isn't enough. If the pipes need to be replaced, let's do that. We're paying for water. I'm a homeowner, so we're paying for water that we cannot use.
Pequannock's water system connects to 14,730 lead service lines in Newark. Administration sources say there's no evidence of systemic failure. Perhaps it was a bad batch of filters, but they won't know until they conduct further tests, and they're now developing a survey protocol. The EPA ordered bottled water to be distributed in the meantime, but the first delivery from New Jersey's emergency management stores apparently displayed an expired Best Buy date. That held up distribution for a few hours, even though the FDA has stated there's no limit to bottled water's shelf life.
I came at 10, they told me after 11, now I'm back after 11, they're telling me after 1, so it's like all of this runaround.
City officials are urging residents to run their water. That helps distribute the new anti-corrosion chemical, which should be working by year's end. Williams worries about her younger son's lead levels.
It's very hard for him to concentrate on certain things, and the symptoms that I've been reading up on lately, like he's following that trend.
For NJTV News and the PBS NewsHour, I'm Brenda Flanagan.
This all led to the start of a federal court hearing today. The Natural Resources Defense Council brought the lawsuit accusing the city of Newark and the state of New Jersey of violating safe drinking water laws. The NRDC says bottled water must be distributed for all of the city's 285,000 residents. Another member of the NJTV team on this story, Michael Hill, was in the courtroom and joins me now. Michael, Newark has acted essentially because they were sued. Take us to the courtroom you were in today. I heard the judge had some very strong words.
She really did. And this really boiled down today to corrosion control at the treatment facility. The expert for the environmentalists say it's not working well, and it's been leading to very high parts per billion of lead being found in several homes, 3 of them in fact. 18 parts per billion in one home, 56 parts per billion in one home, and get this one, 246 parts per billion in a home this year in Newark. That's 16 times higher than the EPA actionable level. Now, the expert for the city says, wait a minute here. Those levels are high because corrosion control had been an issue, but those issues now are being resolved. So we're seeing lead levels now come down in Newark because of better treatment, more stable treatment of the water there. So what's the recommendation for homeowners caught up all in the middle of this? The expert for the city says, well, just flush your water, 15 to 30 seconds at the tap. And the expert for the environmentalist said that is woefully too low. He suggests 5 minutes, he says, and he says that really depends on the forceful flow of the water. If it's a slow force, 5 minutes may not be enough. If it's a fast force, 2 minutes may do the job. Now, the judge did have some very pointed questions, and as a matter of fact, some points today she took over questioning from both of the attorneys because she wanted answers about the effectiveness of the corrosion control, and then some simple things, Lisa, such as, is the water safe for bathing? Is it safe for washing clothes? Is it safe for washing dishes? Is it safe for food preparation? And so forth. And the expert for the environmentalist said to those questions, yes, Lisa, it certainly is.
Michael, let me get a couple more questions to you on this. We've seen this story continue to pop up in city after city across the country. We know tens of thousands of people right there at least will be affected. But can you talk about something else I saw in your stories? What appears to be an opening rift, rich versus poor, and colors of communities of color over this issue?
For some people, it certainly is. I had a conversation with the New Jersey Sierra Club director this week talking about this issue, and we've asked some lawmakers as well. If this were something taking place perhaps in Montclair, in Westfield, in Short Hills, some of the suburbs surrounding Newark, would those suburbs still be dealing with this kind of issue? We're talking about 2-3 decades down the road. And a lot of these answers that come up are absolutely not. In fact, the Sierra Club says that the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection is responsible for making sure that the water is clean, that it's of good quality in New Jersey, and it really should be on the forefront of trying to get money to resolve this issue in Newark, which is so widespread. The DEP commission, we understand, for New Jersey was actually in Washington, D.C., meeting with the head of the EPA today. Lisa?
And Michael, one question briefly. How long do you think citizens there will have to deal with unsafe water? Is it clear?
It is not clear. These corrosion control issues have to be resolved. And then there is a plan underway right now in Newark. It is kind of piecemeal, some describe it. It's an 8-year plan, $75 million, to replace some of the lines that are going from the street into individual homes. The homeowners, of course, own those lines, and it's a matter of funding, but there is a program underway, but some people say that needs to be expedited. And in fact, what Newark needs for this issue is a Marshall Plan. Lisa?
Michael Hill with the great NJTV on this important story. Thank you, Michael.